Good morning and welcome to Paris. In this video I would like to explain how my French classes went. I came to Paris in September 2017 and 10 years earlier I had finished studies in French and amongst other things. And then I hadn't used it for 10 years because I wasn't working in the job that I trained for, and even in university it was always my second language. English came first and then you just had to pick a second one. So there was always French, and I was struggling with French and I was too happy to give it up because English was always the language I felt more comfortable in. Because you had to pick a second foreign language, I took French because I already had it in school. And because even in classes there were always people who spoke French much better than I did. So I was never feeling comfortable. But then one of the first jobs after I graduated was selling things on the Christmas market in Strasbourg. And in Strasbourg I had to talk French to the people who wanted me to sell them something but who spoke French. And that was the first time I realized I can actually speak it and communicate and people understand me. After Strasbourg I started working in Frankfurt. I was using English on a daily basis in my job. And I think I once needed French and I got so nervous because I hadn't used it for a long time. But then in 2017 I realized I hadn't used French for a while and I was planning on a maybe 3-week trip to France somewhere. Because a friend of mine, she was doing that with Spanish classes. Instead of the 3 weeks that I had planned to improve my French, I took a job in Paris, which also helps improving your French. When I came here I thought, well, my French is a bit rusty because I hadn't used it for 10 years, but I'm pretty sure it's all there. And then I started talking to my co-workers and I couldn't understand a word they were saying amongst each other. If they talked to me very slowly, yeah, I understood. But I never knew what was going on during lunchtime. So when I came to Paris, I learned that you can actually apply to get a training and that will be paid by the job. There's a plan de formation for each year. Except because I arrived in September, the next plan de formation would be validated in May. So until March I had to present what I actually wanted to do, and I was given a budget. The HR, which is external, suggested I would look up at Tomatis, and what they do are they would listen what frequencies you could hear, and then you would be given headphones and then they would make you understand the vibrations that the language you're going to learn has. Because my HR suggested that and I thought, well, they're going to tell me what courses I can take, I talked to them on the phone after having talked to the school that offered the Tomatis. I was a bit shocked because I had hoped for a course that would give me some grammar classes and improve my business French. And she when I asked, oh, well, I'm more looking for a grammar class, she said, well, you still have to do the auditorial works. You would still have to listen to something to open your ears to the language. And I felt like I can speak French, I can hear them. They're all around me talking and I can understand them. So clearly I have the frequency in my head that allows me to hear French. Then I started Googling and asking my friends, and I actually found something where I was happy with and asked them for a quote. And I was waiting for them to find me a date to test my French when HR came up with another language school, so I also talked to them. And the school I had found was very personalized, so it felt like a tiny team and everybody was helpful, and I wasn't just a number, I was someone who inquired something and they took the time to explain everything to me. And then the thing that the school that the HR person found was more general. You would be one of the many people who would do the class. So in the end I opted for the smaller school. They're not tiny because they also have offices in different cities in France. And what they mostly do is English classes, but they felt more personal. So I assumed that I would be a B2, maybe touching on the C1, just because I had done so much French in my life, even though I hadn't used it for quite a while. I finally did the language test and I was tested B1 in written and B2 in oral. And then she sent me a test to the certificate that I had to be doing by the end of the class, because HR explained that in order for the French government to be okay with my training, I would have to have a certificate to prove that I improved afterwards. So she sent me over that link, and it was supposed to be finding errors in the text. Now, if I see a French word and it's written differently to what I'm expecting it to be written, then I just assume I'm wrong. So marking a text and finding all the errors was hard, and I did even worse in that test. Well, my teacher was quite shocked because she hadn't seen me yet and she hadn't talked to me yet, and I was getting this really bad result as if I have no idea how French works. So, but then we met and we talked, and I think now she is quite confident that I will get a good result, which the test will be done in April. So I started with the classes in September 2018 and I'll have the test in April 2019. So, and it's 30 hours divided into 1.5 hours, so 20 classes. I certainly feel like I'm doing too much because I'm worried and I really want to have a good result, and I really want to get the C1 in the end. But on the other end, I feel how my French is getting better and how I can see text and see mistakes, and I don't think, oh, I must be wrong. I think, oh, the text must be wrong. I sometimes wonder if I'm just over-exaggerating, because other people, they have exams and they don't really train for that. And then also I hired a tutor because I don't have my mom around to learn with me, who helps me with the dictation and the conjugation of the word, and I have not heard about anybody else doing that. So I might do just a little too much because it's not the final of my master degree. It's just a French class. It's just some certificate to prove that I actually did my classes and that, yeah, the money goes somewhere useful. But on the other hand, I really want to have a good result. And I might have arrived at my destination, so see you next time. Bye!